Hello! Welcome to Evergreen Creators, where digital marketers, video creators, podcasters, authors, publishers, and content creators come to master their financial success. So, I'm very excited. Had some real cool clarity and some good ideas popping in my head. And I'm just going to talk about the big idea of what I'm onto. So, what companies in your mind freaking own the world? Okay? For me, it is Amazon, Google, and Apple. You know what I mean? So they run shit, basically. And what I'm realizing is with what I've been training and what I've been doing, I now know how to rank for keywords on all of their platforms, right? So I could rank your business in Google for your keywords. I can rank your business on YouTube for your keywords for your business. I can rank your podcast in iTunes so that you're on Apple's front screen, whenever people go to the podcast section of iTunes, you're like literally on Apple, where they have so much traffic. Everybody has a freaking iPhone. You're on people's phones, you know what I mean? And then I now know how to make you number one on Amazon to lead all back to your website, whatever your web entity is. And then also there's Pinterest. Pinterest is another amazing search engine that I'm just been geeking out on. I always thought it was just for my girlfriend's addiction to penguins and cooking stuff, but there is so much awesomeness in Pinterest. Anyways, but just think about how powerful that is with me. Okay, if you are on the front page of Google, you're killing it. And I do this all the time. I have a system, takes about 2 months, 3 months really, and it works. I do it over and over and over and over, and it has changed my life. SEO has literally saved my life. And then now with my podcast, I know how to rank my podcast for any keyword. If you want to learn how to do that, you got to buy my podcast course. Go to evergreencreators.com/podcast promotion, or I'll put the link in the description. And Spotify, so I know how to rank my podcast on the most important platforms for podcasts. Apple is the gorilla in the podcasting world, but Spotify is Donkey Kong's little cousin or whatever, Diddy Kong, coming up in the ranks. But Apple, Google, and Amazon. Okay, and then if you want to rank your Amazon book, right? People are doing this all the time. I'm learning now. You do KDP SEO. You have your keyword description, or you have your descriptions, you have your keywords in your description, you have your keywords picked out for your categories for your books, and then the main thing for the algorithm of Amazon is that you're selling stuff. So if you nail the SEO for your Amazon book, and then you have a great launch, and you already have a budget aside to have a pay-per-click basically way to sell your book, like Facebook, Google, YouTube, everything that you can possibly throw at your book in the first couple days, and then you get it ranked on the number one page in Amazon, you're going to have a bestseller. And there's other ways that you can do it too, where you pay a bunch of people in India to give you a bunch of reviews, but I'm not all about that. I think more focusing on getting the sales, figuring out exactly how much it costs for you to sell one book. That's awesome. That's incredible. And it doesn't just have to be your books anymore that I'm learning. I'm creating guided meditations where people are basically going to be where I have a person on Fiverr create this guided meditation for people to de-stress, and then I'm going to publish that on Amazon, and I'm going to rank it number one because I've already done the research. I have a budget aside, and I can do this for I can do this for other people potentially. But just think about the leads you get when you have all of these systems in place. They're all firing at once, right? And again, I want to throw Pinterest in there because Pinterest is really great for traffic, and it's definitely more search engine than it is anything else. So, and on other search engines, once I rank you in Google, you'll be ranked on Bing, you'll be ranked on Yahoo, you'll be ranked on MSNBC, because that's just how I do, and I have it all awesomely planned out. But Google isn't the end-all be-all anymore. Google does own the freaking world, but YouTube is way easier to rank than it is for Google. iTunes is super cake. Amazon is the next thing. You just have to create the product, and these are just gorgeous lead magnets that you can sell forever. But if you sell a certain amount, after you do your due diligence of, picking a category, making sure that it's not just a piece of shit book, because if people leave you a bunch of bad reviews, it doesn't matter how many, where you are. And then you have a plan of how you're actually going to sell it. Like Amazon, you do have to pay to play, but then once you get on that first page, because you've paid, you've ran so many ads, and Amazon sees the traffic that's coming into your, come on, dude. Sorry, my dog was having an epic battle with a little toy in the back. We got a puppy. Okay. So, but let's just talk about how powerful this is for any business. So, the repurposing campaigns that I've been doing have been proving very incredible. Lots of traffic. It's just kicking ass, and I'm super excited. But let's just think about using these search engines, and optimizing the piss out of our content and what you can do with it. So, you'll be able to rank on Google. You'll be able to rank right away if you do long tail keywords, and it'll probably take a little while for harder keywords, but you can rank on Google, right? You can rank your GMB, your Google My Business account, where people will have your phone number by creating great content, putting it on your GMB, and getting reviews on there. You can also mention it in your books, in your podcast, in your YouTube videos, and ask people what they would like in order to give you reviews. Once you have a reviews on your Google My Business, as well as a bunch of links, boom, you're going to be in the top 3-pack and making a lot more money than you ever have. Okay, you can be in the Google Images. You can rank and have your business's pictures of what you do come up, and people sleep on this, but you can get a lot of traffic optimizing your images and putting them up on Google. Okay, next you can go on YouTube, right, and you can rank and create content for all the questions that your customers have, so that you are in a video authority, right? And these are evergreen things. Once you get them ranked and you keep them ranked, hopefully they won't fall down like rocks because you have a new channel. But that's why you guys got to buy my YouTube course, where I teach you how to establish your channel so that you can be an authority. Okay, so you rank it in YouTube, right? You also can rank your videos pretty much just in YouTube, actually. But you can also get them on the front page of Google, because there's a lot of long tail keywords where videos show up in the search, and that's how your channel can also really take over, take charge, and start to blow up. Next, you can rank your podcasts on iTunes, right? Like top iTunes for your keywords, where there's tons of traffic, tons of listeners. I think I'm probably getting listeners on this podcast right now. Thank you so much for listening. But you can rank your podcasts in iTunes. You can rank your podcasts in Spotify. Once you start to get enough downloads, because all iTunes honestly cares about is you optimize your stuff before you upload it, and then you get a bunch of people to subscribe to your podcast within the last 24 to 48 hours, and you can rank for just about any keyword that you really want if you have this system down. But you can rank in iTunes, where you're on Apple. You're on the Apple platform, right? And then you can also rank in Spotify, which is incredible. Now let's talk about Amazon. But before we go to Amazon, we're still on audio. I want to talk about audiobooks. Audiobooks are the new, huge opportunity out there to make real money. Okay, so you have to have a published written book before you can have somebody else narrate it, or narrate it yourself, and then you can sell it. But then think of all the platforms that your audiobook can be on, where people don't even have to read a book. They can just buy it, you make money, they listen, that's a lead, and then they love you and they become a fan. So you can have your audiobook on iTunes. You can have your audiobook in the Nook stuff. There's a whole bunch of other ones, but more importantly, you can have your audiobook on Audible, which has tons of traffic, lot less competition. If you ever look up the results for books on Amazon, you'll see thousands of books. You look up the same keyword on Audible, you'll see maybe 100 or less. That's the difference. That's why there's so much opportunity. Plus, you make more money per sale when you have audiobooks. Okay, so then you're able to rank, after the audio stuff, you're able to have your book, right? Because we've been talking about this. You create videos, you turn your videos into podcasts, you turn your podcasts into blog posts, you have them edited, and then you have them sorted into a book. So you're creating your content with a book in mind from the get-go. And then you can have a best-selling book on Amazon by picking the right category, putting all the right keywords in your description, and in the 7 places where you can put keywords when you're uploading a KDP book. Amazon, then you'll have your ebook. Your ebook can go anywhere. And Amazon has this print on demand feature where whenever you sell a paperback, they print it right away for you and they ship it for you for like $2, right? So you don't have to have a warehouse full of books anymore. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You just have to make a good book that benefits your business. And then think about all the things that are going to happen around that book, right? The book is going to have, for people reading on Kindle, the book can have a lead magnet on every single page at the bottom by the page number, that people can actually click on their Kindle to go to your website or to watch your videos or whatever it is you're trying to promote, okay? And then you can have the paperbacks. The paperbacks are going to be a physical thing that are in people's houses reminding them of you, okay? And then you can also have the audiobook like we talked about. And you can even have DVDs and TV shows now on Amazon Prime if you started to really build a studio and really blow this up. And then you got your Pinterest where you can post your pictures like we were talking about that you're optimizing for Google, and then you put them on Pinterest and you can start to get thousands of pins and traffic all the time. And these are just the search engine domination. So if each piece of the content, like instead of creating tons and tons of content, which I still think is super important in the beginning, you just focus on creating one piece of content, right? And then you repurpose in the effort to be on Google, be on Apple, be on Amazon, okay? And then have all of them funneling to your website where you have a automated email sequence, where you have a automated digital products to sell, where you have your coaching, your courses, your service, whatever it is that you're offering. And just think about all the things that you can sell. Think about all the potential in this right now that we have right now, where we can put our thinking cap on, think about what it would look like if we were able to do this. And I know I make it sound easy, but I'm doing it right now. And I would love to help other people learn this process, which is why I'm putting Evergreen Creators together. And it's essentially like personal branding, entrepreneur education, like it's just dominating all the search engines as well as tapping into those social traffic flows that are out there where you keep on building followings, and those are awesome, but we should really focus on the evergreen stuff. Like each time you put out, whenever you rank on Google, you're going to be there for a long time unless you fuck something up. And then every time you're on the Google Images, every time you're GMB, those are evergreen. They're going to make you money forever. Your book is going to be evergreen. Your podcasts are going to be evergreen. Your YouTube videos are going to be evergreen unless they drop like a rock in the rankings because you don't stay active and you're not growing. So this is a fire-ass system. This is beautiful. And I'm just so happy, and I really like publishing too. I like what makes sense to me as a business model is having a product and selling it. I know how to do that. I know how to make the product. Once I have the product, I know how to sell it. I know how to run ads. I know how to talk to people. I can sell products without ever paying for ads because I know the communication, I know how to target a customer, and I know how to just be a genuine person so that I'm not coming off as a sleazy scumbag. But digital products that sell day and night, 24/7, don't need a warehouse, don't take up any space, like that is the future of profits. And you just have to tamper and figure out what's going to work for your business. And they're lead magnets, but you can actually make money from your lead magnets by doing this. Even if you're the most boring job in the world, I don't know, but let's say Hardwood Flooring Company. You come up with a book from all your content on how to do really incredible high-end hardwood flooring detailing or banisters and things like that, and you have that book for sale. That makes you an authority. I think authority is going to be the new reason people buy from anybody. Like Holly Stark, she, in my mind, is a YouTube authority, and she just randomly had this course, and it was a ton of money, and I didn't care, though, because it's freaking Holly Stark. Like, she has that authority in my mind. So how do you create that authority in the mind of others so that you can build your brand, so that you can dominate? Well, you do it by always being there, by having quality content, by communicating with your customer, because the fact is once you start ranking for these things, right? Every time your customer searches for this on Google, on YouTube, on iTunes, on Pinterest, on Amazon, and you pop up, you're an authority. You can do this. It's not rocket science anymore. It doesn't take a whole, crazy amount of investment or anything like that. All it takes is some focus, some time, and some clarity. So this has been my rant of excitement for evergreen creators and focusing on doing this for myself in the experimental phase and then doing this for customers. And this is just awesome. And I'm excited to launch the publication business where I'm publishing stuff and helping self-publishing authors create stuff, because I think self-publishing is the way. There's no more gatekeeper. If you think you have to wait for a deal, it just seems like garbage, because you have to have thousands of followers, you have to have massive audiences before they'll even speak to you, before you can even get in on the door, and then they take your money. Whereas self-publishing, you're in control of everything. You do have to have the money already set up to have a cost per click campaign, because when you launch, if you don't have a huge email list, it's important to build that email list, because you're going to have more books, you're going to have more podcasts, you're going to have more content coming out, and you're going to have more of this stuff in general, and you want more customers regardless. But when you launch, you want to have as many sales as possible, because when you first launch on that first day, that's how you can really get to that first page. And then once you are on the first page, you stay there, and your book becomes evergreen, or it fades away into nothingness because you didn't do enough planning. But I just want you to think about the potential of all this. I want you to open your mind and definitely probably buy my trainings or sign up for some of my coaching. I would love to do some coaching if anybody is interested. So check out Evergreen Creators. I'll have all the links down below. But this just excites me. Think about being on the first page of these monster companies, and then just like you're like a little minnow on a whale, and you're just getting all the good stuff or whatever. Get all the benefits because you pre-thought, you had that extra wheel turning, that if I put this out there, people will find it. And it's not necessarily like build this and they will come. It's like optimize this and you will be found and you will make money. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to make money, actually. You could totally botch the book, botch the content, and make nothing. But I don't see that possible if you follow the program that I'm talking about, where you're literally on Google, you're on Apple's website, you're on Amazon's website, and you have an awesome authority on your own website. It's like, that's where people are. And you're on Facebook, and you're on all the other places. But I mean, Facebook is cool, but it's I don't know. I don't think it's up there with evergreen content. I think you share everything through Facebook. You build a group. Facebook groups are the only currency on Facebook anymore as well. Well, Facebook ads as well, but everything costs too much now to you have to sell courses for like $2,000 if you want to make any money on it for Facebook ads. That's not true, but I hope you enjoyed. Check out evergreencreators.com. Be sure to leave me a 5-star review. Check out my YouTube channel, Evergreen Creators. Hit me up on Twitter. I would love to have some conversations or anything like that. At For the Creators on Twitter. And I think we're going to dive deeper into these, as well as talking about setting your business up for success. Because any good plan starts with research and lining it up and setting it up, and then just going all in, because no one can stop you. None of them can stop you. Only you can. But if you have a plan and you stick to it, then nothing can stop you. Take care.